Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today we will be bringing you some Collegiate Star League Dota 2 with a Week 14 match between Tulsa and Robert Morris. I am Zingle. Joining me today is Hachiko.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. So, what do we know about these teams today, buddy?
So we did cast both these teams before, and both their games were actually against Rutgers, and they ended up both losing. But so far, they're sitting pretty even in terms of standings. Uh, they're both tied with the record of 3-2, and the winner tonight actually gets a higher seed when it comes to the playoffs. So even though we're approaching the end of the season, and uh, this match is starting to not matter too much, but as for these teams, it's going to determine who gets the top seed or the lower seed, which might make a difference when they get into the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. These games still do matter because the playoffs are seeded. Having that extra little seed could help you, secure that top spot to go to the playoff or to the finals, I should say. Um, We will be starting the game soon, so I'm going to once again just thank our wonderful sponsors for allowing us any of this to even be possible. Band Gaming. Band is a social app, and it's the primary social app of CSL with many features such as creating groups, boards, calendar functions, polls, chats, and as of recently, call functionality. Band is a premier social experience for you and your fellow gamers. Find out more at band.us/home or find them in the Google Play and App stores. It won't make you friends, but it'll help you keep them for sure. Um, us at the CSL community can be found at band.us/@CStarLeague. And you can also find the CSL admins for their office hours Mondays 6 to 7 Pacific time at that site. Furthermore, we would like to thank Twitch. As always, we have nothing but gratitude for the largest streaming platform in gaming to support collegiate esports, from PAX East and West and many other events that CSL wouldn't be able to function without it. Um, be on the lookout for cool opportunities to get involved with Twitch in the near future, and be sure to show them some love and support on social media, twitter.com/twitch and facebook.com/twitch. And last but not least, we would love to welcome ASUS to the CSL family for the 2016-2017 season. They are the providers of everything esports. They provide wonderful stuff, products such as monitors, laptops, routers, graphics cards, motherboards, and more. Don't enter your next battle unless you're equipped with the best, equipped with ASUS. And with that, it looks like the draft will be starting very shortly, so we are going to be jumping right into a little plug from our sponsor and then starting up in a jiffy. See you then.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
All right, we're in the draft, it seems.
Yep. Assuming all goes well, we have seen disconnects before, but the new loading screen does seem to go pretty quick, and there everyone's in. All right, so it's been a while. We haven't seen a game like this in a couple weeks now. What do you think anything has changed in those 2 weeks? Has meta changed, or is it going to still be the Lone Druid, Underlord, Slardar, Ember Spirit type of first ban meta?
Well, I casted all of Star Ladder, and in terms of pro meta, we saw a small shift here and there, but Lone Druid still showing to be a top ban. And as we see here, RMU not messing around, taking both Ember and Lone Druid out, and Tulsa getting slaughtered, so it doesn't look like there's any change for these teams.
Oh yeah, no, it looks pretty similar so far. Let's be honest. Ember Spirit it warrants that first phase. Lone Druid likewise. Slardar you do see it in the 4 position now instead of the 3, but even still you see it like first phase picked every time that it slips on through. And then the one new thing here is the Darkseer. That's not a traditional first phase ban here.
They're going to take out the entire combination. The Slaughter Darks are usually seen together as a pretty strong combination, but they don't want to play against either.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the hero is just pretty strong in lane, pretty strong altogether if you take into account also the fact that it can synergize with really any area stun. And Slardar is obviously one of the best right now because it's a common 4 position with a nice AoE stun, but there are others. And then RMU goes for that first pick Centaur. This is something that we haven't seen too much in CSL previously, but I have seen it, you know, made its kind of debut at Star Ladder, and now it's been kind of a first phase ban pick type hero.
Centaur being a very popular hero now as an offlaner, he's kind of taken that spot now that the Slaughter has moved kind of like to a supporting role. If you're trying to pick like AoE stun on your offlane, a lot of teams are going for Centaur.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, you know, that ultimate is great for any sort of team fight initiation or retreat. And, I don't know, I think it fits the meta of those, like, dominant, strong, tanky offlaners who can be active early on. So I like it. And then some other metas that we've seen develop during Star Ladder are the Brewmaster. Brewmaster has somewhat come back into the scene with that, and Keeper of the Light has made a huge reappearance in the meta. So, do you expect either of the teams to go with that, or do you think these teams haven't quite adapted to the
I
pro
think
scene?
Keeper's kind of a hard hero to run because it takes a certain play style. But I feel like he's very strong if you get good practice playing with the Keeper. He's kind of play the game entirely different with the Keeper of the Lights, using the recall and things like that. And then he doesn't really join team fights that well. I mean, he can, but you have to like set it up with a stun or some type of setup so that you can get the Caudal Blast out. Other than that, he's kind of just a really good base defender. And
Right.
I feel like that's one of the reasons he's so strong. You can't just siege against him, like, period. You just start eating Caudal Blast and then Blinding Lights, and suddenly you're just dead.
Especially since that Chakra Magic can lower the cooldown between your blasts, I think, is Illuminate. So trying to push high ground early is not quite as easy against that. But, we're talking a lot about it. We haven't seen it picked up yet, so it's not too warranted. But the heroes that have been picked up, we see an Ogre Juggernaut come out for the Tulsa 1-2 pick and a Return Vengeful pick. So that could be a carry Venge, but more likely just to be a support. I like that they pick it early because you don't know. On the side of Tulsa, however, that's a support ogre. That's guaranteed. Juggernaut could go mid or safe, but it still fills a similar role regardless of which one it goes.
It's funny that Tulsa bans Axe because the Centaur is already the potential offlaner, so they might be thinking that it might be like a Centaur carrier or something here, Axe as the offlaner. Or as for my team, I've actually been running Axe carrier, so if it was for me against us, it kind of makes sense. But it's just a really good hero against Jug, and I feel like Axe is like a very good anti-meta hero right now. He's strong against the heroes that are good right now. A lot of the physical damage dealers, even Life Stealer and stuff like that. But they have a Juggernaut, and Axe kind of wrecks him. So
Well, honestly, that's kind of what I love about the meta of Dota, is that these first 2 picks from RMU, typically you see Centaur, okay, that's offlane, Vengeful, that's, support. But both of them, we've seen them play as that one position role, which, you don't really see that in other games. You don't really see that in other metas. It's just kind of been a thing more of recently where heroes fill multiple roles, and it's really hard to predict drafts until, they're almost complete. Makes our jobs a lot tougher, but definitely makes the drafters' jobs a lot tougher. Trying to, play the guessing game of where are those 2 heroes going to go. So we see an Oracle ban as well as that Axe ban. it doesn't really shout to me that they want anything in particular. Because Oracle, I mean, the biggest counter really Oracle is to the Darkseer and maybe to the Ancient Apparition. Maybe they're looking to pick up Huskar? I don't even know. No, that doesn't make sense because then they wouldn't have banned it. But regardless, Oracle is also banned, and then RMU bans Disruptor and Underlord. Two also pretty common picks for that support role and offlane role.
They get a Bounty Hunter here. That's going to give them the kind of early game dominance. With Invis heroes right now, it forces your opponents into buying a lot of dust and sentries, which is one thing in the early game, and does affect heroes like Ogre that kind of want to go greedy, get like early boots and Orb of Venom, maybe something like that up. And getting an early Invis hero means that enemy support's going to have to spend more money, and they'll be just a bit poorer in the early game. And with a Bounty Hunter, you can also get really deep boards off as well.
Alright. Speaking of that, though, the Bounty Hunter against the Ogre, if Ogre just gets a Dust and an Orb of Venom, if Bounty Hunter is ever in a spot where he's not, like, directly next to his tower, Ogre will just run him down every single time. Because Bounty
It's
Hunter
tough for him to
pretty
get
good.
things done.
Yeah. But if RMU has a good start with that Lifestealer pickup as well, they have a very clear timing in mind of, about 10 to 20 minutes in when we have the Bounty Hunter track up, when we have the Lifestealer armlet up, when we have the Centaur ult, we can just run at you and kill you almost no matter what because we have so much damage output.
I'm surprised they didn't go for Ricky here if they're going to pick up the Lifestealer, because having that silence against something like a Jug is pretty huge.
That's true, and against Faceless Void. Faceless Void did come up after the Bounty Hunter, and I'll give it that, but having a Faceless Void here gives kind of a questionable cohesion to Tulsa's draft, but I still like it against the heroes that RMU has. So it doesn't necessarily synergize as much as it does counter in this case.
Yeah, Faceless Void is really good against any type of Lifestealer draft because their nature is just to kind of get in your face, and having that huge disable through BKB is really important to counter initiate. And you have the Jug to hit the tower as well, so in terms of a pushing situation, they can just leave Jug to hit the tower. Faceless Void will stay in the back. If Jug gets initiated on, the Chrono will just come out. And at that, in that sense, it makes sense because the Jug is not going to have a chance to hit inside the Chrono if he's going to be counter initiated on anyway. So,
right. And here comes a last pick Invoker, and then an instant response of TA. I really like the TA response to the Invoker. TA is also really good against Lifestealer. TA is actually just a really good pick in general here. But the Invoker could have just been a prevention pick because you don't want to have that Invoker and Faceless Void combo, because a Meteor or a Sunstrike into that Chrono is pretty much death for whoever's caught. So I guess they expected it to be a Void offlane, which I did not. I thought it was going to be a Void carry, but it looks like it will be a Void offlane, a Juggernaut safe lane, a Templar mid against the Invoker mid, Lifestealer safe lane, Centaur offlane most likely, and then the roaming Bounty Hunter and Ogre, and then 5 position Venged Lion. So with these drafts, complete, is there anything that you think is a draft win here?
I would say it's pretty even overall. Their problem is in the early to mid game for RMU, because the TA is going to be able to do very well mid with the Ogre helping, and it's just going to be up to when the Centaur gets his blink up. That's going to be the critical timing for RMU.
Alright, so let's do some introductions here. On the side of Tulsa, we have GBPS on the Templar Assassin, we have Ice9 on the carry Juggernaut, JD on the offlane Void, Lion played by Rua Baby, and Jebaited M12, by the way, playing the Ogre. On the side of RMU, we have Sammy going mid Invoker, we have Phantom Wilford on the offlane Centaur, we have Shibby on the safe lane Lifestealer, we have Loyal Lion roaming around on the Bounty Hunter, and the Ilinula, I don't know how to say that, Ilinula on the 5 position Vengeful Spirit.
Ilinula? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's go with Ilinula. Alright, so only one ward seemed to get placed down quickly by that Vengeful. It's a pretty good spot. I don't know if they got it, or if they got a glimpse of Venge running away.
It's a good spot if you can get it off uncontested or not spotted.
And now the Bounty Hunter is running in. The Void did see his little poof animation from when he goes invis, so they know he's here. but I don't think that's too big of an issue. So yeah, as I was saying right before the intros, these matchups, typically the Lifestealer versus Void matchup does favor the Lifestealer a little bit, but especially with that support on the Vengeful Spirit, this matchup should favor RMU. I mean, as expected, in their safe lane, they should win that lane. In the mid lane, Templar in a 1v1 matchup against Invoker, that's typically TA favored, but if this Bounty Hunter can do work, if he can snipe a courier like he's positioned up for, maybe they can be salvaged, but I'll have to give the edge to the TA here. And then in the bottom lane, of course, a tri-lane versus a solo Centaur. The Centaur should not be able to win the lane, especially being zoned out so aggressively at level 1.
Yeah, they're committing 3 to zone him out, and we'll see if this works out for them. Going with just a straight tri-lane can just be a bit risky, having a roaming bounty hunter. He can just hit another lane real quick, but it looks like Ogre is going to rotate over. So the thing with tri-lanes right now is the experience of the level in the safe lane can just be pretty hard for you to get if your camps get blocked, especially. A lot of times teams are just opting for a dual lane, and looks like what they're going to transition into.
Right. I'll let Juggernaut at least keep even, and hopefully stay ahead, but at the very least keep even with the Centaur. A stun will come out, and then the spin will dodge the Centaur stun. Centaur is ticking very low. He has only 50 health. He will use the Salve and just barely survive from that last right click out of Ice 9. Does have to use the Salve, but with the Shrines added in 7.0 right there, he's going to heal back up and just go get some XP.
The Lion's going to pull the lane back here. With the Lion and the Jug, they should be able to zone the Centaur just fine. But with just 2, he's going to get some levels out of the lane. A lot of times we actually see like Centaur players like go die for first blood. And then work it out in their favor because the lane pushes into their tower and they get like level 4 off of it pretty much, because it's really hard to recover the creep equilibrium in this patch. But he does survive, and the creep wave also is not pushing in his favor, so he's going to have to risk it to get this next waves of creeps.
Oh, and it seems like I messed up the overlay once again, but it's only 2 minutes underway. You didn't miss a first blood, so nothing too big lost. I'm sorry about that. It's not a real Dota cast if it's not with the Zingle messing up the overlays, so you know, let's just leave it as that. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, a sentry will be plopped down. They see the Bounty Hunter roaming, and they instantly kill that counter ward that Bounty Hunter tries to get. Bounty Hunter is getting a little bit low, but they don't really have the best way to catch him because Ogre is also only level 1. Actually, Ogre just got level 2 now, but these supports, these roaming supports, are still pretty underleveled, all things considered.
I think both offlaners doing pretty good this game. Centaur has a lot more though.
They're both getting the XP. I mean, Void is almost 3, so it's not too far
gonna be almost
behind.
level 4.
That's true. It's almost a full level.
Just gonna be a bit behind just because this range creep is still alive on the top lane.
But as I say that, that's a double range creep pushing into
Yeah, the lane's
Void's
pushing,
tower,
so they should be even after this.
he'll catch up soon. I guess the matchup that is most interesting is mid. Even though TA's losing on CS, he has doubled up on denies. He has 10, now 11 denies at 3 minutes, which is definitely annoying for this Invoker who really wants levels. He even often go Midas on Invoker, like rushed just to get extra levels.
Yeah, the Ogre rotates in, finds the kill into Centaur.
Yeah, T-Tours that one too. Whoops. It's been a while, I'm rusty. But with that, you know, Jug and Lifestealer keeping even on CS, but with Jug getting that first blood, he is probably well ahead on net worth.
The lane's pushing in now. He's gonna get this farm if he hits the creeps. He gets one of them.
If he hits the
Now
creeps.
they're trying to get a kill into Ice 9, but he gets a spin off. Centaur is dead again.
The Shuriken will come out at the last second, and it will clip the Juggernaut. The Sunstrike was also there. It may have been off the mark, but it wasn't even needed in the end, so that'll be a 1-for-1. Jug having 2 kills to his name now, I believe, so he's not too upset with dying. Obviously, it's not ideal, but having 2 kills at 4 minutes, you're definitely not complaining either. And meanwhile,
I think Centaur's timing is pretty important. I might just head back to lane, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes jungle either. This is Avenge just sitting down here now. He's a pretty fast jungler.
He is a fast jungler, but with the support rotating, I'm imagining that they're going to try to contest the lane a little bit more, especially now that Shibby has his phase boots and Blightstone top. When he trades it with Faceless Void, he will come out ahead.
Yeah, they don't need to help top anymore.
Nope.
Should be able to own this lane now. He has a lot of regen left as well. I think for our Mew, they're just gonna sit back. They have the Invoker, and all they need is that Blink on the Centaur, level 6 on the Bounty. Then they can start doing work with Lifestealer Yanks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this Invoker isn't even losing this lane very hard. Yeah, he's, the denies are heavily in the favor of Templar Assassin, but he's still level 5.
And with Centaur getting gone on bot again, looks
Oh.
like he's gonna die a third time trying to bring someone with him. But
Good call there.
unfortunately-
Lion is terrified of the Sunstrike now. He's like yelling at Ogre, stand next to me, help me tank it, everyone stand next to me. And then the self was actually misused onto Ice 9 rather than the Lion there. So I think that was Ogre trying to be generous there, and that's a little bit of a misclick.
He has Tranquil Boots, he's fine. In mid lane, the TA getting ganked by Vengeful Spirit, but it doesn't look like she's gonna die here. She doesn't even have the meld to dodge the stun. She doesn't need it.
That ward is caught out, so Venge walked up and placed a ward at the very last second, and the Templar sees it. So I would not be surprised if he goes and takes it
I
out.
wouldn't be surprised if TA gets a kill on Invoker. There's no sentry for him here. This is a pretty big deal. If he walks onto these traps,
Invoker does
TA
have a
definitely
point
can
in
get
the,
a long slow. He
in
has Ghost Walk.
Yeah. He has a point in each of the abilities, so he can invoke anything at this point. Meanwhile, top lane, I missed that. And bottom lane, incredible. So I missed both kills somehow. That's a kill top onto the Faceless Void. I'm pretty sure Shibby baited the time walk back under the tower, and the two supports were waiting for him. And then bottom lane, the supports do clean up a kill on Centaur, but not enough.
Oh, that's a big kill though. That was a solo kill on the Jug.
The Centaur killing the Jug, yeah.
Yeah, the Jug.
So Centaur is definitely fine dying there. He is 1-4-1, so his
He's
score
level
isn't great.
6 now.
But he is level
The
6
Jug's
now.
still level 4.
He got a
TA
good
almost
amount
goes
of money
down
as well.
mid. She goes down to 30 HP. He gets away.
Oh my camera work is it's gonna improve throughout the game, I assure you. It's just some rust. Alright, so with the laning phase kinda coming to a close, we see Lifestealer is pulling ahead in CS, and especially with Jug dying twice now, I'd have to give this favor to the safe lane of RMU. Mid lane,
That's a pretty big deal for the Centaur getting a kill like that. If you look, the Jug's really under leveled. He's not even level 6 yet. He's behind his line in terms of level.
yeah, the Lion getting the XP for the kill is nice, because Lion having that finger is insanely impactful. Just the threat of the roaming Lion ult is big, but having your Jug be the almost lowest level on your team is pretty bad. He's only ahead of the Ogre in terms of XP. On the side, Lion does get
comes
caught
onto
out.
Lion.
Yep, he gets stomped, he gets shurikened, and he just gets taken down. And then the Centaur ult, there's the Valley level 6 that you were mentioning. He does get him out of combat, and now it might be a return kill. Jug did just get his level 6, so he does manage to pick up a return kill onto the Bounty Hunter, so far it's a 1-for-1. The Chrono is used, the Faceless rotating bottom. GBPS on the Templar is rotating behind the tower, gets a kill on the Centaur. Now it looks like it's going to be a 3-for-1 here with the Venge is going to go down, yeah.
And TA Haster in there.
Wow, that's pretty lucky. It let him catch up to the Centaur, who I thought got away because the Centaur ult was used, but he lollygagged a little bit too much and the Templar caught up.
How's Invoker's Midas here? This is a pretty big deal, and he's actually pretty far behind. With the 23 denies on the TA, he doesn't have that much CS. TA himself doesn't have that much CS, but with those kills, he's going to be having a surge in net worth.
The mid battle was really a battle of denies, a battle of just lane control. Meanwhile, the safe laners are just battling to see who could get more. And right now, despite like all this combat and that 3-for-1 trade that just happened, bottom Lifestealer is still just free farming top. He is well ahead of the Juggernaut by about 500 gold only 9 minutes in. He almost has his armlet complete in only about 100 more, and he's going to be looking to push this tower and get super active now because this is one of his biggest tower
Centaur in
threats.
trouble bottom lane.
The spin will come out, but going under the tower like that, Jug wises up and runs away.
Now they're going to turn around onto Lion.
The finger
he
used
hits the
stun
finger before
right
he dies. He's going so low.
Oh, there will be a return kill there for the Juggernaut. Centaur probably could have backed off after that stun was used, but he decided to try to come in and get the kill before he died. And now with Bounty Hunter going invis, he will manage to get away. A Sentry Ward was placed down, but GBPS already changed his target to the Venge, and now they will both survive. So that will be a 2-for-1 once again in this bottom lane. I think every kill other than one has been in the bottom lane so far, so it's been a very bloody battle down here.
It's not a fun time for this Jug though. He's not having the time he needs to farm. He wants to get this Hamladam up, but he keeps having the Centaur run at him, and Centaur is feeding his life away for it, but it's gonna hinder his farm.
Meanwhile, at this bottom rune, it looks like Venge tries to contest, but he's just going to go down to the right clicks from the Templar. That will be a killing spree now for this Templar, 3-0. Yeah, the CS isn't great, but that's keeping her caught up with some of the other cores and keeps her ahead of the opposing mid laner.
They gotta watch out for this like 15-minute timing coming from Tulsa, where they're just gonna have this TA like 1 or 2 shot people.
Right.
Once the Deso comes out.
So it seems like they wanted to rotate top, try to maybe get a kill on Shibi and then get the tower. However, it got pinged out. There's an obvious observer ward there that I think both teams are pinging out right now because they saw each other. And with that, it looks like bottom lane, after being the bloodiest lane in the game, is just abandoned by both teams right now, and focus is shifted elsewhere here.
And Tulsa has so many wards on the map compared to RMU right now. I don't know what that is. They haven't had a chance to place them, I guess.
That's my guess, is when you stockpile them too long and then you just go and die and die and die because you're trying to help, and then all of a sudden you get 4 in the map and a couple in your inventory, and you know that you've messed up a little bit. But that's not too big a deal.
They're not looking to attack right now. If anything, they want to place some defensive wards to make sure they don't get run at.
Exactly. So in this bottom lane, it looks like they're going to try to get a kill on the Centaur here. They do have the stun set up from the Lion, but I think Centaur caught a glimpse of him from the creep wave, and now he's going to be playing a little bit extra cautious.
They really need to secure this Blink Dagger on the Centaur, and he's still very far away from it.
Yeah, having 1,000 gold away still at 12 minutes is quite a ways to go. There will be a stun setup and a sheep, but this Centaur is extremely tanky, and that's without a Vanguard or anything, and then he'll just Centaur ult away, Stampede away.
And a straight Blink isn't that great onto Centaur either, unless you have the setup or the follow-up, but they do have the Lifestealer and Invoker,
They do have a Lifestealer.
I would say it's fine right here.
I'm surprised this Lifestealer isn't getting super active, but I guess he's having such a nice time in this top lane. He wants to get his next item, this Echo Saber, up, and you know, with this timing, he'll have it by like 15 minutes or less, and then he'll be actually just the strongest hero in the map.
They're not quite ready to fight, even with the Lifestealer, until the
Looks
Centaur gets this Blink.
The Tulsa team was playing a little bit aggressive bottom. Lion hexes a creep just to kind of taunt the other team and say, haha, we know you're...
Looks like Jug's going Battle Fury, so...
Is he really? That's a build that we don't see often at all, actually, because this like early meta of fighting and pushing on. But I guess
Aggressive actually built it at Star Ladder.
Did he? Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, in one game, but it was...
Did they win?
I believe he was against an AM, and they won, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe
he
it's
wanted
the
to
same
keep up
idea
and farm
here.
with the AM. And I guess this game, they can outscale.
Mm-hmm.
The big problem is Invoker when it comes late game. But in terms of the matchup against Lifestealer, they have a very good matchup.
Right. Juggernaut does fare well against Lifestealer, and Templar also fares well against Lifestealer. So these cores, they don't have an issue. Obviously, the later it goes...
Templar kind of falls off, though.
Yeah, in a sense. As far as dealing with Lifestealer goes, because you get those, especially at like level 25, you get the extra refraction, you're not too worried about the Lifestealer, but you are worried about the other heroes still.
I think Templar's problem is her damage just kind of falls off once Lifestealer gets level 25 and has 15 armor. Jug has other ways to deal with it, like he can like chain bash the Lifestealer and things like that, but Templar has no option to do that.
That's true. Unless you go bash around TA, which I would not recommend, but it would be interesting to see. An ult here, a stun used right at the right timing, so the stun is used right when center ult is out, so Bounty can't get away with panic a little bit there, but
He eats the finger.
he'll eat a finger despite being swapped out, and he will go down. And meanwhile, Ogre is smoked up. They're actually looking for more. Now that that bounty's dead, they're thinking we can finally push and get control of this area that we've been highly contesting for the past 15 minutes. They will run into the Centaur in the back line, but I don't think this Ogre has the ability to stall him long enough for the Jug to catch up, and it doesn't even look like they want to.
And Chrono used onto Shibi in the top lane, but he survives that easily.
He's a tanky guy. He has the armlet. He almost has his Echo Saber, and with extra regen and his ult coming out, he's going to be tough to kill. And that bottom tower will go down. I think that's the first one in the game, is it not? It is. And then they're trying to get a kill here onto the Bounty Hunter. Shrine is used, though, so he is very tanky. Or not very tanky, but very healthy. But there's no escape. He's dusted and sentryed, and he's just making laps around the Shrine to stall. So this game, it's pretty much going as I expected. But it really comes down to the next 5 minutes, in my opinion. If RMU can make advantage of these next 5 minutes and really get the lead that they need, they will be in a very comfortable position. But if not, like you were saying, the outscale from Tulsa's, it's definitely a possibility that's on their mind.
They just need this blink on the Centaur, and he's gonna have it very shortly.
That's true.
This
With
is very
this
good for
bounty
them.
rune in this camp, he should actually get it. He's 20 gold off.
They don't have Chrono either. They know they use it top, so this is like a perfect time for them to get something done here.
Venge with the Invis rune runs right past the Sentry Ward, but looks like no dust or anything else is going to be used to catch him. And now there is a Desolator up on TA, so as I was saying, it's RMU's opportunity to kind of go and brawl and fight. It is also one of the Templar Assassin's peaks, because that early Desolator, you know, allows you to do Roche, it allows you to take towers, and allows you to really just burn through that Lifestealer and Centaur, who have pretty low armor.
They're grouping up right now. You know, there's no Chrono to counter initiate. They just want to go. However, they don't have a smoke or anything.
Nope. They're just hoping maybe that they aren't going to be spotted. They're going right for this Juggernaut in
They
the
see
jungle.
Jug.
The question is, do they get the stomp off before the spin comes out or before the TP reaction? They aren't going to blindly dive behind
Oh,
the
he's
tower.
not gonna go for the blind.
They haven't completely given up yet. A blink
Oh,
stun
oh.
here would be pretty big, but
Oh,
the Lion
my.
stun at the same time. That's very unfortunate. Looks like Bounty Hunter might go down on the side, but meanwhile, Lifestealer just tears apart the Lion. Both will go down as expected, and now
Chrono
Lifestealer
is
has to
up
be a little
now.
bit more cautious.
Nice
Chrono
three-man
will be
Chrono
used,
here.
hits 3, but it also hits his tower, so the tower won't be helping out very much.
is
TA
in.
blink or TP's in, tears apart that Centaur with his Desolator, and now Shibi getting blocked by his own creep, and then a Time Walk from Void blocks that one too. Very nice play there by the Ogre to get away, and by the Void to help him. So that will be a 3-for-1 in the end of the day, I think. And yes,
Yeah,
it
they
was
only
a track
lost
kill,
the
but
Lion.
Oh.
No, 3-for-2 Sunstrike.
a very impressive Sunstrike there. Catches the Void at the very end. So it is a 3-for-2 with a bounty track on, I think, 1. So at the end of the day, it's not too bad. If you look at the fight recap, it's only... Oh, it only shows the 1 kill, so... Yeah, it's not too bad. It's in favor of Tulsa in both net worth and XP, but only like 1,000, 2,000. And for 20 minutes in, that is definitely not unrecoverable. So with that first Infest gank being, I'd say it's a failure. Like, it didn't go horribly, but it didn't go as well as they would hope. What do you think they do now? Do they try to do it again? Or do they just, you know, be content with status quo of just farming away at this point?
Looks like Shibi wants to just farm up again.
Yeah.
He's TP to the safe lane, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna hit creeps, guys. Invoker does have Ags coming, and it's a pretty good timing. Considering he didn't have the fastest Midas out there. And maybe they'll take a fight once that comes up, but as for Shibi, he's gonna try to finish up his Desolator. And Ice9 does have his Battle Fury now, and he's gonna start farming very quickly, along with TA as well.
Mm-hmm. So
I feel like RMU can't afford to just try to outfarm them. They gotta continuously put pressure, but they can't really force the issue either against the Void.
the thing is, the one benefit they have is this bounty hunter factor. If they get these like even trades all game, but they have bounty hunter tracking, they will keep up with farm just by the fact that the other team isn't farming because they're forcing fights. And even if they don't come out ahead in the fights, they'll have track to kind of make that up.
They just gotta go for ganks here and there, and even if they trade even, they'll end up with a lead with track.
As we say that, there's going to be 3 heroes from the Tulsa Radiant squad coming up top. They look like they want to get that tier 1, but there is an infested Lifestealer into the Centaur. Centaur ult used as well. They blink, and that's a stomp onto 2.
That's a nice stun.
Blown up. Lifestealer actually doesn't kill the Void, but he will get the Ogre. And now Void will time walk and chrono onto 4. A very nice return play from the TA. Has the blink now, so he will blink and get a double kill. And now this Phantom Wilford guy is having some trouble here. Meanwhile, I believe it was a Sunstrike used to kill the Juggernaut. I barely missed that as I was watching this chase, but at the end of the day, I believe that's a 2 for 3. Once again,
He played greedy there, and he thought that Void would die. He wanted to get the extra kill, but that ended up losing them the team fight.
and now it's a 3 for 3. So that return kill, that actually was a huge play there by the Void. Not being instantly blown up during those stuns lets him get that chrono, lets him get the return play at all.
Centaur got the perfect stun off. He got Lion and the Void. They just needed to kill both, and they were pretty much in the clear. But going greedy for the Ogre kill, thinking that his team had enough damage to take out Void, and he was wrong.
The thing is, not only that, if Void wasn't able to be bursted, him walking towards the Ogre puts him in a good spot to like predict where the Void would be. So it's not a totally wrong play, it's just a unfortunate, communication error.
Yeah, on the other hand, Invoker got a solo kill onto Jug, if you didn't notice that one.
I think it was was it a solo kill or was it a Sunstrike in that top lane?
I believe it was a solo kill.
Oh wow, that's
Jug
even more
wasn't-
impressive then. I thought it was
Jug
just a
wasn't in
Sunstrike
top fight.
pickoff. Yeah, Jug wasn't there, you're right. Well, with that then, this Invoker is catching up nicely. He is trailing behind
It's almost
the
17 now.
TA just barely still, but not too bad. There will be another Infest Blink gank onto the
Man,
Lion. They will
TA's in
blow him
a
up, and now
world of trouble here.
TA's done for, yeah. The 5v1 is not doable. And with Lion's talent of minus 25 second respawn, he literally is only dead for like 7 seconds. Just kind of hilarious.
There's a couple heroes like that. Undying, Lion, I think Phoenix as well.
That's kind of funny, to be honest. Like, the plus 45 damage isn't even really important because you don't really right-click much on the line. So I really like that talent, but at the same time I hate it because playing against a support line who's just up every 5 seconds would be very annoying. Alright, but off of that fight, RMU is going to push their advantage. They have the 5v4 pressure right now. They will take the tier 1 and they're going to probably gun right for that tier 2. But at the same time, Tulsa expects this. They're going to apply pressure elsewhere on that middle tower and try to force a reaction from RMU.
Tay building into a straight Bloodthorn.
Interesting. I like the item, but I don't
This build.
necessarily think it's the best item to go right away. Because as we saw in that last fight, if he gets caught, he's just going to die immediately. A great chrono will catch the Lifestealer, and the Sunstrike will also be on the mark, though, so it won't quite save the Lion. Jug will use the ultimate to kill the Centaur, and it'll be a 1-for-1 so far. But now with TA coming in, there's not
You
really
gotta
the
be
best
careful,
spot to
Invoker.
fight.
Oh, he's not ready to cast his spells.
There's the Tornado. It will buy a little bit of time, but it looks like Bounty Hunter will still go down. A good Deafening Blast and Ice Wall will buy some time, but it seems like Bounty Hunter is not long for this world. Chibi will be able to kind of just phase Boots off, and Invoker, he's out of mana, and he is farming pretty greedily, but it doesn't look like he'll be punished for it. So that was, at the start of the fight, I think they commit once again for the Lion. Every fight now, they've been going for the Lion, and it's kind of just been hurting them because the other cores with this return Chrono, with the return Omni Slash and TA there to clean it up, it has been going very in favor of Tulsa.
They can't afford to go on anyone else other than the Void this game. Otherwise, he's gonna get nice chronos off all game,
Mm-hmm.
just because the life stealer is so easy to hit the chrono on, as he's always in the front there with his rage, thinking that he's invincible as his team initiates.
And
But
I like Faceless's build here too. He's not going that like blink initiator where you have to stand in the back line. He's just being a frontliner with the Vlad's Manta build and just hoping to try to bulk up and just stay alive a little bit, so when these fights happen he can just time walk it off and kind of just be that a nuisance frontliner. I do like it, and it also, you know, gives them that third scaling core rather than a just a blink initiator.
this Crimson Guard coming out of the Centaur is gonna be a relatively big deal. Most of the damage coming from Tulsa right now is physical.
Mm-hmm. It's almost entirely physical, let's be honest. The 3 cores all just right-clicking away. It will be nice, but at the end of the day, it's only, what, 70 damage block for melee, 35 for range? And these heroes hit very hard with that Desolator TA, with the Void Bashes dealing magical damage and Juggernaut critting for like 600 at this point. Oh, I guess it's
I
600
do
on
see
crits.
the TA locking in the late game here, so I think Tulsa definitely want to end at some point. Playing against the late game Centaur, Lifestealer, and Invoker can be rough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have Void. I think Void Jug will do fine. TA kind of falls off hard. That's just her nature as a hero.
So this bounty hunter, I was hyping him up a lot about like keeping them in the game with this net worth advantage, but if we look at his net worth, he is very low down there. Yes, he's the highest of the 4 supports, so to speak, but still, typically if these track fights go well, if these, you know, this plan goes well at all, you'll see this bounty hunter typically ahead of some cores on the other team. So I guess that's just a sign of this game. They will bait a
They're
Void.
going in, they want the Void, and they get him.
That was a very good return chrono, but it just narrowly misses the heroes on the side, and Void will go down still. So far that's a 1 for 0. Jug is running in, but this is a little bit risky. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Lifestealer is also just kind of running in the center of 4, gets Omni Slash down. Centaur tries
He
to help
gave a
tank it,
finger, but Sammy is doing work.
Yep. That's the late game Invoker starting up right now. 26 minutes of farm and just kind of being on your own, and then all of a sudden you show up to a fight and you get an ultra kill. Will he get the rampage here? He will 4-step in and get with 3 right clicks. That's a rampage on Sammy. 27 minutes into the game, making his debut. 8-0-1. What a play. That fight went from really good to really bad to really good for them. Because losing that
If
life
they get
stealer,
Void, they'll win every fight.
yeah, they get the Void, but they lose the life stealer. So at that point, they have that brief moment of hesitation, like, can we still fight? And then at that same time, Invoker came in and cleaned up. So
Yeah, they were all at that choke, and he just hit all his spells.
and Invoker is a pusher with that alacrity, with those Forged Spirits. He just takes that tier 2 in a few seconds, and
Now he's level
things
21.
are going well now. You know, I was talking like so pessimistically about RMU's timing, not being able to hit it, but with that, they are now ahead in team net worth, and they are back to even in team XP. So they're definitely not out of this yet. And, you know, like you were saying, rushing this Bloodthorn might come back to bite him in this butt on TA, because not having a BKB there, just letting Invoker have his way with the fight, is a very big problem. Juggernaut, you do have the spin, but you don't really do damage if you're spinning. Most of your damage comes from the actual clicking, and Void also does not have a Manta or his BKB yet, so Invoker is a menace right now. I don't know how they stop him. Unless they chrono him and blow him up with like a TA being in the right spot, I think Sammy will take over this game in the near future. Then again, I said the same thing about the Lifestealer. And although he's not doing poorly, he definitely did not stomp anything. There's another Infest gank here. They will go right for that TA. A Sunstrike will come out, and that's going to be a blown up TA. Down for 77 seconds, no buyback, and the team is posturing up for this push and maybe a Roshan here. A huge pick off there, and like 1,500 net worth from that 1 kill.
Now Invoker's so far ahead.
And with a Roche coming out their way too, they'll have an Aegis on... It depends on who wants the siege. Typically put on the Sieger, but this Invoker, yeah, he'll take it. He moves his Aquila out. Nope, never mind. Miscommunication there. Invoker looked like he wanted it. He swapped out his Aquila, but at the same time, Lifestealer is like, nah, this is my time to shine. You're good enough as you are. So, anywho, That TA kill will be converted into a Roshan. They're gonna secure their lanes, which we're pushing in a little bit, and then I would very much expect them to go for another fight, especially with Lifestealer immediately infesting the Centaur once again.
Looks like, oh,
It looks like a little bit of aggressive positioning coming out of the Venge. He will
Venge
be
got a
caught
nice
out.
swap off.
Yeah, and
And
that's
she's
gonna
gonna get
so far
away.
be too. There will be a very good return chrono. Catches all four? Not all five, yeah, only four. But
It doesn't
at the
get
same
the
time,
Lifestealer.
Shibby is just standing there. A blink cold snap cancels the TP, and now that is a 4. I guess it's a 3 for 0, but TA was still dead from the last fight, so 4 were dead.
They got baited there. They thought that was a free Venge kill, and then she just swaps the Jug, gets herself back to her team, and
And now RMU pushes high ground. They have an Invoker great at pushing, they have the Desolator, and they have the return passive from Centaur. So this tier 3 went down in a matter of seconds. They don't have Chrono, and they only have 3 heroes, no buyback, so I don't imagine Tulsa can defend, or should they defend. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a baited back, the Lifestealer infest, and they blink in, but having the refraction allows TA to blink out. But as I say that, he goes back in once again. He does
he got
manage to get
swapped
away.
in there,
Yeah.
but Force Staff's gonna get him away.
This line forced to pop the Shrine here. He looks like he still will go down. Double Edge is committed. Now it's once again their advantage, 4 against 5, and they have Aegis. So RMU might be looking for more here. Tier 3 bottom is open, however there still is a tier 2 top, so they might not fully commit.
If they want to go in, there's still Omni
Lifestealer
Slash
is
on the
fighting
Jug.
back.
There's no Chrono, however.
TA went deep, tries to kill the Invoker and blows him up in 2 hits, but Yules will dodge that last right click. Meanwhile, in the back line, it looks like Shibby will be
And now he's
fighting,
gonna
kills
get
the Ogre.
disarmed by TA.
TA does get killed by the Invoker, but meanwhile Shibby is trying to go down. It looks like Sammy's being at really low health. He gets blinked and slashed away by this Juggernaut. And now Shibby is armlet toggling and running around.
He still has the Omni.
They will kill him. The toggle will fail that time, so Aegis will be popped. But that's a 2.5, I'll say, and a half because of the Aegis. 2.5 for 4 there. And yes, they killed the godlike Invoker, but they lost 4 once again. And as expected, they have a gold swing in favor of RMU, especially with track golds on all those kills. 15k XP in favor of RMU, and 15k XP in favor of RMU. So this game went from very stagnant. If you look, there's no lead more than 4k until about 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden RMU took over. This is not what I expected. I don't know if you did say the late game Invoker would do well, but did you expect it like this?
I expected for Tulsa to start pressuring a lot earlier on, but this Jug just deciding to go greedy with the battle free build, and then Tay going for the Orchid instead of like a BKB or something. It just didn't allow them the opportunity to just group up and push, and they got themselves caught out a couple of times, which costed them a lot. Ended up being Roshan and a set of Rex so far.
And it looks like this TA still has the, oh, as I say, he switches over to a BKB queued up. He had the Bloodthorn recipe still in the queue, but after these past few fights, he realized what he needed to do.
It was just Void getting caught once there, and the entire game blew open. And that's what happens when you play against Bounty Hunter.
So let's see the way back into it for Tulsa, because they definitely haven't lost yet. Losing one set of racks is not a death sentence. If TA gets this BKB, if Juggernaut gets, I assume he's going for an Abyssal, or maybe just a Butterfly here. If Void gets that initiation or just survivability item, thinking, you know, Blink, Ags, or BKB. I think they can still win these fights, and as we were saying the entire game, like, their 3 cores should outscale still. Are they able to hold, or will...
Way harder because of what has happened, though.
Yeah.
For their game plan now, it was pretty simple before if they can get a good lead, because then all they needed to do was just push, have Void be in the fog, make sure that it doesn't get tracked or whatever, and then counter initiate. But now they gotta like split push, get Jug to 6 slots pretty much, as they're not ending the game anytime soon against this Invoker. And hope for a good Chronos in the late game. It's pretty much their game plan here.
Just turtle it out and hope that RMU makes a mistake here or there. They did lose the Shrine and the Tier 2, however, so a lot of their map control is falling out. This Juggernaut recognizes that he just has to split push. He's okay to spin TP away because Invoker doesn't really have any BKB canceling stuns, or piercing stuns.
Shibby does have a Abyssal, so...
And now they will catch Shibby here. They will use the Chrono, and that's just going to be a blown up Shibby. He's a little bit too far up, and he will be instantly jumped at.
His teammate was almost there to swap him out, but wasn't there in time.
The miss onto Vengeful Spirit, he does have the full Solar Crest done. They will look for more. They managed to catch up to the Bounty Hunter, but he will Guardian Greaves off that dust and just kind of run away.
So they get the Life Stealer, but...
Who doesn't have buyback too, so this could be an opportunity for them to come back into this. However, pushing 4v5 high ground...
And Invoker can just defend.
Right, it's not like, you know, it's an auto-win fight. 4v5 is just a little bit, you know, more helpful, but this Invoker really was the menace in the last fight. He is top of the net worth, and it looks like he will
He's
just
still
be
split pushing for now, but...
He'll come back, yeah, he's DPing back. They don't want to lose a Rex for nothing.
They killed the Healing Ward.
There will be a swap in. Will be maybe a kill on the
big deal
Centaur
with the
hill,
loose
yeah.
Centaur. He does have buyback.
Even
Now that
through
everyone's
the-
gonna hit by this meteor. Oh, it's a bit mistimed with a Deafening Blast and they get away.
Not quite. Invoker did go in a little bit deep here. He's trying to get a kill on the retreat. Templar is in their base. Ice 9 also goes into their base, but with the Chrono being used, with Juggernaut Ultimate being used, I don't really foresee a kill happening off of that.
Now Life Stealer's back. Ooh, the Tornado!
Oh, but the Cold Snap! Okay, so the Tornado missed, but they still got Vision for the Cold Snap to cancel that. So it is a 1-for-1. They lose Centaur, but they get Void in return, and they don't lose their base. It's only at half health tower, so they're fine with that. Losing a core late game without buyback should have some sort of punishment, but they managed to, you know, stop the bleeding before it got too bad.
And Rosh just spawning for them soon. They're probably gonna be able to get it, actually.
Oh, look at this. Invoker, Arcane Rune, Octarine. He has the ideal, like, setup right now. Basically,
He's 6 slotted.
slot,
He is
yeah.
the Shiva's too.
Shiva's in his backpack. Once he uses the Smitus, which he's desperately looking to use, he'll
There's no creeps.
probably look to do something.
Centaur is willing to nags in it. Once he gets that, I don't know what Tulsa can do, because their Chrono is gonna just be nullified.
Assuming they don't catch the Centaur. That's their, you know, only chance now, is they catch the Centaur so he can't use the ult and instantly, you know, nullify the...
I think their Chrono has to somehow hit the Centaur and the Invoker. I don't know, that's pretty...
It's a
it's
tough
pretty
ask. But luckily, hitting the Centaur will also mean hitting the Lifestealer. So hitting it on 1 core is an automatic 2 core. But then again, as I say that, Lifestealer is actually infested into the Invoker in the bottom lane. They look like they're trying to bait something, and Invoker is like 1 XP away. He is 16 XP away from level 25 here, so they definitely want that before they do this next fight. And off of 1 or 2 creeps here, they will get 25 on Invoker. Now the question is, does he go for the Tornado or the Deafening Blast? I would love to see it on the Tornado, because right now he has a 22.5 second cooldown on Tornado, and with a minus 18, I'm pretty sure it goes down to, what, 8 seconds?
9 seconds or something? 8 seconds, 9
and
seconds,
it's an
somewhere around
extremely
there.
strong spell if you can spam it out multiple times, like 4 times in a fight. And he does go for the Tornado. I remember back when this talent tree was released, everyone thought, oh, that's stupid, everyone's going to go for the Deafening Blast, until they realized how good this Tornado cooldown actually is. Top lane, Juggernaut will get the tower, and then Blink, Spin, TP away. So they get something in return. The Blink Chrono will actually miss. Both the Venge and the Invoker get out of it in time. And then, with that, Centaur ulting back in, they're looking to chase something. The swap is being used, and the Blink Infest to gank out of Shibby. They will catch 2. It looks like they won't get a kill immediately off of it. Ice 9 did go deep there for Sammy, but he's just going to get Abyssal and bash down. And now there's no buyback on the Ice 9 Juggernaut.
That's rough. There's a lot of pressure on Void, and one misstep from him is just gonna mean game.
And Invoker going deep. This Tornado will miss there, but it's still 3
It's
dead.
up in
He has
4
Euls to
seconds.
get rid of this if you would like to. So Invoker
It's actually
should be
so
fine
dumb.
here. A BKB
If you don't
up
have
on that
BKB,
TA.
you can never fight with this because he's always just sending you into the air as soon as anyone gets in trouble.
Yep. And with this, I wouldn't be surprised to see a tap out from Tulsa here. They have 4 dead. They're basically being fountain farmed. Sammy's just shopping for items while Void hits at him, but it doesn't really do much.
He wants to buy his refresher for the fancy plays.
Meanwhile, the bottom set of racks does go down. That mid-range is
He needs
already
to
down.
sell something. Alright, you got it.
Now with the refresher up, I don't
Hey,
think...
go make the plays before the game's over, dude.
Right there, that's a triple.
There you go. Oh, you
it's
only
a
got the double. There you go, the refresh. Oh no, he got hexed!
I don't know what's going on anymore, but Invoker's just having fun. He's fountain farming.
He got his
He gets
refresh
2.
off.
He almost gets a 3rd. There's gonna be no tap out, but that's basically game.
Oh, that would have been a sick play there. You got the triple, and you got the full combo off. He didn't get the lines, so he just got interrupted mid-combo.
So impressive comeback here from RMU. I thought they were gonna definitely fall behind considering how that early game went. But this
Yeah,
Invoker,
Sammy pulling it
this
through.
everyone really, but I'd have to give MVP banned player of the game to the Invoker for sure. He was just in the right spot at the right time. He farmed, he understood the state of the game, and he pulled out what he needed to do.
He kind of all started from that solo kill in the Jug in the bot lane. He got a lot of levels off that, and Jug was pretty up there in the net worth, so he got a decent amount of gold as well. And then from there, they took a couple of good team fights, and Invoker kind of just got out of control.
And just look at the damage done. He dealt as much damage to heroes as the other 2 cores put together, and he dealt as much damage to buildings as the other 2 cores put together. So he definitely pulled his weight and some. And then he had top GPM by a mile, top XPM by a mile.
Yeah, I was gonna say
great
it's
plays.
gonna be up to Invoker to carry the game, and if he has a decent game once he gets his core items up, that being the Midas and the Ags, it should be a relatively easy path to victory for RMU, and they got just that.
Alrighty, well with Game 1 going the way of RMU, we will be back shortly for a Game 2, see if Tulsa can cinch out a second game and take this to a Game 3, and if RMU can kind of secure their spot as the higher seed in their bracket. I'm going to, give another plug to our sponsors real quick, and we will be back shortly. Thank you for watching.